All right, let's dive right into this, because what we're talking about today is something that until now has felt like pure science fiction. We're talking about the ability to take a few normal everyday photos and have an AI instantly build a perfect, explorable 3D world from them. A huge barrier in this field just got knocked down, and honestly, it could change everything.
I mean, just think about that for a second. You're standing in front of some amazing landmark, or you see a piece of furniture that's just perfect. You pull out your phone, take a handful of pictures, and poof, a flawless digital version appears on your screen, one that you can walk through, spin around, and look at from literally any angle.
For years, this has been the dream, the holy grail, really, for so many fields, from VR and AR to historic preservation and even online shopping. The idea is to create a perfect digital twin of anything in the real world. That ability promises to completely reshape how we interact with digital spaces.
But here's the reality check. In practice, this whole process has always been incredibly fragile. It's like trying to build an intricate house of cards, but the table is constantly shaking. The dream of easy, perfect 3D capture has always been just out of reach, all because of one surprisingly difficult problem.
And that problem, it's all about the camera. See, to build that 3D model, the computer isn't just looking at what's in your photos. It desperately needs to know where those photos were taken from. And in the real world, it turns out, the camera gets lost a lot.
So here's the critical piece of the puzzle. For a computer to stitch your photos together into a seamless 3D scene, it needs what's called the camera pose. That's the exact coordinates in the precise angle the camera was pointing for every single shot. If that information is even a tiny bit off, the whole thing just collapses.
And this just shows you the problem perfectly. On the one hand, if you have perfect camera data, you get a beautiful, clean model. But on the right, that's what happens with real-world messy data from, say, a handheld phone. You get these awful glitches, what the researchers call geometric misalignments. Objects are doubled, surfaces are warped. It looks like a digital earthquake just tore through the scene. And this has been the roadblock for years, until now.
Because now, a brand new AI approach is completely flipping the script. Instead of needing all that perfect information up front, this AI is smart enough to figure things out on its own, even when the data is messy and incomplete.
They're calling it pose-free 3D reconstruction, and the name really says it all. The AI doesn't need you to tell it where the camera was. Instead, it does this kind of incredible digital detective work. It figures out the shape of the scene and the location of the camera for each photo, all at the same time. It solves both puzzles at once.
Okay, so what does that actually mean? Well, older methods would try to force each photo into a 3D map based on those shaky camera instructions. This new AI is different. It looks at all the photos together, almost like it's getting the wisdom of the crowd. It finds the common patterns and integrates all those different viewpoints into one single, unified understanding. It's just a much smarter way of seeing.
So how in the world does it actually do this? How does it create such perfect order from the chaos of real-world photos? Well, the process is actually pretty elegant, and you can break it down into two main steps.
First, it creates what you can imagine as a shared blueprint. It looks at all the images at once to build a rough, general model of the scene. This becomes its single source of truth, ironing out all the little inconsistencies from the different camera views. Then, in step 2, it refines that blueprint. It identifies key anchor points in the scene. Think of them like landmarks, and uses them to align all the tiny details with unbelievable precision, snapping everything into its perfect place. Now, this might sound like a pretty technical, behind-the-scenes kind of thing, but the real-world impact of this is, well, it's huge. This isn't just a small step up, it's a massive leap forward in our ability to digitize the world around us.
Seriously, the difference is night and day. We are moving away from those glitchy, broken, unreliable models of the past and into a future where capturing a perfect digital memory of a place or an object is as simple as taking a quick video with your phone. The barrier to creating amazing 3D content is basically about to disappear.
And that just unlocks so much. We're talking hyper-realistic VR and AR worlds that you can build just by walking around a place. We can perfectly preserve fragile historical artifacts so future generations can explore them digitally. Think about online shopping, where you can actually see a perfect 3D model of a couch in your living room before you buy it. Or video games with environments scanned from real, incredible locations. This technology makes all of that not just possible, but practical.
So, really, as we look at all of this, it's clear it's more than just a new piece of software. We are standing right on the edge of a new creative frontier,
one where that line between our physical world and the digital world is about to get incredibly thin and super easy to cross.
And that leaves us with one really fascinating, massive question. For decades, creating in 3D has been for experts with complicated tools and years of training. But if anyone, anywhere, can now create a perfect digital copy of their world with just a phone in their pocket, what happens next? What new kinds of arts, of stories, of connection will we choose to build? That's the future that this breakthrough just unlocked.